All right, here, hopefully we'll get this out. We're gonna take the puller. These kind of come out sometimes two different pieces, and that's just how they're made. Try to hook this on the end. All right, I'm gonna get this because I'm gonna need two hands without the camera to get this out, and then I'll get these in. I'll show you what I do to install these. All right, we got our old seal pried out with our tool. We'll have our new seal in here. What I like to do is, these come with grease in here, so when you stick your axle in, it doesn't start up dry. I like to pack this backside because sometimes you end up putting your axle in and it pops that spring off. So I had one here that I popped off. Okay, there we go. So this is what it looks like off. That actually springs together around there and it holds your seal in a circle. All right, and they pop off sometimes if you're trying to put the axle in sideways, and you'll end up with that. Or if you put your axle in and this is dry on initial startup, this thing spins enough time, it'll actually burn the rubber and you lose a good seal. So, but anyway, we have everything is good to go. This side is done. We're now moving over to the other side here, and we're going to replace this seal. I don't see that either one of these are bad or were leaking, but I find it a really good idea to actually replace these if you're taking the time to install your transmission. All right, we're looking at about, you know, maybe 42. We have the little propane heater running in here today. Not quite sure where I left off, but we do have the transmission in. I got the shifter cables on. I actually have the correct clips. No zip ties. No zip ties. Don't want zip ties there. That's very important that doesn't have zip ties. So we got to get some stuff assembled, and we're gonna run our chain across here, pull our motor over, and actually get our timing belt done today, which is our plan. But with that being said, I wanted to show you guys what the inside of the transmission here actually looked like that we pulled out. So here we go. I did pull the top cover off. Shift selectors and all that stuff look not damaged. I mean, there's wear on forks. You can see a little bit of metal down in here. So I'm hoping we can see. Getting a little close to this heater over here. That we can see down into here. Oh, it's stuck, but down here, this gear right here, it's missing teeth halfway around on this top side. This one here is a little ground. Not quite sure what happened back in there without pulling this down a little bit more. You know, the shift fork doesn't quite like to move. Let's see if that'll allow me. Nope. I can't. Oh, there we go. There we go. You can kind of, hopefully, that brings it out. You can see that gear there on the input shaft is actually missing a ton of teeth right in that area. It's smooth, so it's not meshing together. Not quite sure what happened there. You know, we got grease over here from the axle boot being shot and coming apart. So, man, this is definitely a cleanup, fix, and reassemble mission for this car here. I'm going to get the starter installed, you know, the underneath bracket, try to get the rest of the bolts in the transmission, and just assemble a couple things before I go hooking the chain to pull this over to install our new timing belt set here. So, wish me luck and some warm fingers. Alright, well, I got some stuff together on the trans. I got everything undone. I got my coolant draining out because we're pulling the water pump. I just got the balancer pulled. Just, you know, wanted to illustrate the amount of damage on this center mount, how bad it is. You can see we got the main part is out here now. You know, and this is what it kind of locks in there so it doesn't come out to safety, but you know, this thing should not be bouncing around like this. You can kind of see here. how bad it is. Yeah, you can see it's all tore out. So we're going to get the center mount out. We're going to get this plate off. We've got a new center mount to put in. We've got to get everything pulled off, the cam gears, the covers. That way we can get in here and we can actually get the timing belt. It is starting to show its age. If you look at it, a little bit of cracking right there. So hopefully this goes pretty easy. We pretty much have everything off down to this area. I'm just going to clean some of this stuff across the top. That way it runs down over the old stuff. And then I'm going to pull them off, the tensioner assembly and the water pump, and then I'll get that stuff cleaned. I got to get the timing belt off just yet. That'll slide down out from underneath, and then I'll clean everything up in behind here. And then we can work on getting the water pump reinstalled and the tensioner assembly reinstalled before I take the time to clean this stuff here up and get it all reassembled. We do have just a big mess of parts here that's going to need to be cleaned up. Some of this stuff's damaged. It just needs to be replaced before it gets reinstalled. And this is all just part of a lot of the stuff you come across on, you know, old cars like this that are in need of repair. So, I mean, I can say that there was actually somebody in here at one time. Whether this head was completely redone, including the motor, it's kind of hard to say at one time. It was not the original belt. I knew that. This here was resealed. So, and there's paint. This is actually painted silver, the head is. So it was replaced at one time. It's not the original motor to the car. So yeah, more sews and a couple more. We're going to get down to business. We're going to get this stuff cleaned up. I'll show you what it looks like before we stick the plastic covers back on. All right, guys, we got the belts off. Everything's cleaned up down below. New water pumps installed and sealed. You're kind of wondering why I have these bolts in here. Well, these bolts actually hold the bracket on, and they go through both of these holes. And depending on what water pump you get, sometimes this bolt hole won't line up. Same with this here. There's only one bolt that holds this tensioner in, and it's in behind the cover. So before you tighten this one down, make sure you have this. That holds it in place. Everything's good to go. We have our cover cleaned up. I didn't get too crazy with it because, well, the parts washer's over in where there's no heat, and we're looking at maybe, well, freezing temperatures today. So with that being said, I'm going to get this cover wiped up just a little bit more. We're going to get it installed. I am planning on pulling the valve cover and doing a gasket on this also. But right now we're just at the point of wanting to get our timing reassembled so that we can get it reinstalled with our center mount. I do have a near new center mount here that we're going to be installing to replace the, you know, slightly well worn, I don't know, maybe usable a couple more miles. Typical neon stuff. So we'll show you what this looks like right before we're getting ready to stick everything back together. We got the timing set. See right there. Got everything in. I got the lower cover on. I'm working on getting everything reassembled. Everything rotated around good. Actually, it was a first try, first on, with all of the timing marks, and rotated around a couple times. Everything seems to be pretty decent. Tensioner stayed in place because I put the bolt in here. Just everything, you know, everything just looking good right now. So I'm going to get the center bracket in here, and we're going to get the center mount installed and the top cover, and get this engine sat back over here and get this transmission mount in. All right, timing belt is in. New center mount is in. The motor's actually sitting up where it needs to be. It won't be destroying any more axles with the center mount installed. That's correct, obviously. The trans mount was showing a little bit of wear. The one that I had was a little nicer, so I actually installed that one. There is still lots more to do on this one. I got a lot more stuff to clean up. We're going to be replacing the valve cover gasket. We're going to get all that stuff cleaned up, clean up some of this rust over here, get the mounts reinstalled. I do believe that I am going to swap out this right here because it's tore here and across the top, and it's just, that mount's garbage. So we're going to be pulling that out. The center mount is sitting a whole lot nicer in the hole now. Still got a little bit more grease here to clear out. But yeah, so I think with that being said, I'm going to you know, end this video. We have still lots more to do, lots more bolts, lots more stuff to clean up. Probably remount this up here where it's supposed to go and get that straightened out so it's not an issue down the road. Clean out the charge pipe, straighten out a couple things, fix a little bit of wiring. Nothing normal out of the srt4 daily grind. It is a little bit warmer in here. We're finally up to 60. So, but that calls it a day. And thanks for watching this one. We'll get this thing together, up and running, and actually moving by itself. Maybe if I have time, I'll try to tear down the rest of that transmission. We can actually see what kind of self-destructed inside there, but that might be for another video. Till next one, guys. Boost on.